now at this advanced stage of spiritual life, nothing but a vision of the kingdom can soothe us. The Lord and Lady, they become the mechanism of our praying, and they are blessing us with spiritual visions, again, that are coming and going like a holy moment. And here the kingdom is now beginning to be revealed within the inner heart, and we start to come face to face with God, with Goddess. And it's a bit like taking a walk in a magical forest. We breathe differently, we think differently, we feel differently. And in such a vision of loveliness, our consciousness is forever going to reach for that realm. And this is the realm, and this is the goal of our praying. This is what Yeshua and Mary Magdalene attained and wanted us to learn. This is why Jesus went through crucifixion. People in Christianity, they focus on things like, oh, he was born of a divine virgin. Oh, he ascended up to heaven on a cloud. He was raised on the third day. Oh, we should follow the communion and eat his body and drink his blood. And there's so much focus on these things of Yeshua's life that we've forgotten what the purpose of his crucifixion actually was. What was the purpose of his being willing to go through that awful experience? I could cry when I think of what he went through. Why did he bother to do it? So he did it so that the kingdom would become manifest for all of us, that his message of the kingdom, of prayer, of asceticism, of the removing of our consciousness from the objects of our senses, that this would become manifest in us, even now 2,000 years later, that his message would reach us and inspire us to move upward. And this is the goal of our life. And this is why every saint in history talks of these things. They sacrificed everything. They sacrificed all of their life energies, all of their life force, everything, all their time, everything is dedicated to this one point. They realized that there is no feast for the senses like the perfect picture of loveliness found within the kingdom. Within the kingdom, the Holy Grail is realized. The purpose and the end mission of our soul is finalized. And such a bolt of joy now charges the soul-body connection that the sense of your purpose with your physical mind is now in complete absorption of God and Goddess. There's nothing else that the soul wants at this point. This is the highest level. At this point, it becomes a stream of honey that never stops. And this is the highest goal of our existence. Once we attain this, there is no more death. We attain eternal life. But now this is a very interesting subject, actually, because there's a lot of confusion about how to enter into eternal life. How do we enter into eternal life? It is not something that is attained upon death. That's an illusion. Many spiritual teachers say that, oh yes, upon your death, you will no longer be born again, and you will attain the kingdom. No. If you have not realized the kingdom whilst you are alive, you will not realize it in death. The climate of your consciousness must facilitate this reunion whilst you have life in this body. You must become captivated and preoccupied with everything of divinity, more than the things of this world. It is a spiritual betrothal. And this is the highest stage. And this is the stage that saints and prophets teach from, because they've realized it. They've realized the ecstasy that is available to us within the chalice of their own sacred heart and mind. And they have passed the cup of their wisdom to us to catch our attention. So no matter what faith you are following, there are sadhus, there are saints and prophets within all lineages of mechanisms of prayer, of religion. And these saints have realized these climates, and they are teaching us how to dedicate ourselves entirely to this spiritual pleasure, which is like new, fresh rain on a hot day to the soul. So even though we don't know what's there inside of our consciousness, it is our charge, our quest is to search within our own souls what is actually there behind the veils of illusion that we present to the world. We present one face to the world, but there's another face at home. When the doors are closed, who are we really? Are the two characters together? Are they connected? Or are they two entirely separate creatures? Oh, many people, they really do. Many people have one face for work. They have one face for their friends. They have one face for church, right? And then they have a face for their family. Oh, and then there's the real face. But they should all be connected. What's on the inside should be on the outside. What's on the outside should be on the inside. Otherwise, there's duplicity. Duplicity will not carry you to the kingdom. You cannot attain the highest level of bliss and happiness in the kingdom as long as we are beholden to these falsities. We have to let them go. So facing what is there inside of you within the hall of mirrors is to extract yourself from self-appointed sorrow. Because only once you restore yourself to the pure soul will you never again return to this realm of suffering. So, there's a design to all things in life, and it's entirely your own making what you want to weave into the fabric of your life experience. What are you weaving in your life? Everything that we do, when I say it creates a tapestry and you're weaving, just imagine you're sewing something. You've got a needle and a thread and you're sewing a picture that becomes your life experience. So be careful what you're weaving into your life experience, because you're the only one that's going to experience it. We're not here to please others. You may find that when you start to pray like this and to become this devoted to the path, you'll find that the mind may say, oh, it's too difficult, don't do it today. You don't have time, you're too tired, you're too busy. Well, this way of thinking, this is how Satan grabs hold of us. Now, of course, for some people, the word Satan, they don't like this word. So feel free to change the word to darkness or shadow self if you prefer to use that. But this is the real enemy of the soul, that these thoughts, oh, it's too difficult, I don't have time, I'm too busy, I'm too tired, I want to do something else. This is the enemy right there. These mentalities have found ways to overcome your self-governance. Self-governance means that you govern over yourself. You are controlling, well, I don't want to eat that. That's bad for me. If I eat that food, it's going to make me sick. No, but I really want it. But it's going to make you sick. And that drink, that alcoholic drink, is going to make you so sick. It's going to ruin your consciousness. No, but I really want it. All my friends are doing it and I want to do it. This is not having self-governance. Self-governance means I am governing over myself. I am no longer enslaved by the darkest of regimes that benefit from my suppression. We fast from the world and we do it as an act of worship. And by the power of your sacrifice, you will be healed. And the holy space inside the temple of your heart is then filled with graces that are not of this world. So I'll give you an example. When I gave up eating meat, my consciousness literally immediately jolted me awake. It was as if I had been asleep and was now suddenly awake. The dream of eating meat died in a moment. I suddenly realized what meat actually was. It was murder. It involved suffering. It was an animal who I loved. I love animals. I love animals more intensely than I love just about anything other than God and Goddess. And I gave it up in a second. It was as if the thought of it became like as if somebody was presenting stool to me to eat. I would never even consider it. I was disgusted by something that once I liked. So now in the conscious mind, this is how we overcome everything. Everything that we can give up, we lose one lower climate and we attain a higher climate. And this is how strong the illusion of this paradigm is. That we think that the packaged food that is delivered to us, or the cooked food that's delivered to us on our plate, in our illusion, we eat it, not understanding what it actually is and what suffering has gone into it and how it's affecting us. We don't understand that our consciousness is being changed by what we're eating. We have to withdraw from these things. And these are the things that Yeshua and Mary Magdalene taught. We have to allow the pure light to rush in. But that can only rush in, it can only happen when the blood of slain beasts is not within the consciousness, within the body. Their suffering, their pain and their anguish is there in their blood, in the form of terror hormones. And that misery then comes into your flesh, into your body, into your consciousness, and affects how you think. It affects how far you can go up the ladder of praying. So you see so many people, they've spent an entire life dedicated to prayer, to God, to their religion, to their faith. But how elevated are they? If you look, what are they doing? Oh, they're smoking cigarettes, they're drinking alcohol, they're eating meat. Many of them, including holy people, they're having sex with children, they're doing all kinds of terrible things behind closed doors. So how advanced are they? But they're still praying, supposedly. So what is it that we need to do? These 7 stages of praying are essential if we want to raise our consciousness up out of this lower level of being, this lower way of being. And this lower way of being, what does it do? It causes us to suffer over and over and over and over. We are our own worst enemies. Now, I just want to say, I'm not here to convert anyone to my vegan way of living. I'm just sharing my own personal experience with giving up meat and how it jolted me awake. And it's the same for just about everything. If you give up drugs, if you give up drinking, if you give up illicit sex life, all of these things, gambling, anything that you're addicted to, food, TV watching, whatever it is, if we give it up for a higher climate, you will attain what you came to earth to attain. You will become truly happy. Truly happy. I lost so many friends in my process as I awoke, as I began awakening more and more. I left my dream job. I left the country of my birth. I left behind love and friendships and relationships that I had had for an entire lifetime. I left my family behind. And let me tell you, I received a barrage of disrespect from pretty much everybody who knew me, telling me that my choices were ill-begotten, that I was a fool, that I was being a fanatic. I got so many troll-like comments from everybody who knew me. And I'm sure that many people have experienced this as they start to ascend, as they start to find that they no longer want to indulge in these lower things. And then actually you start to deplore those things.